हरि ओम ओम शांति कृष्णं वंदे जगद्गुरुं गोविंदाय नमः गोवर्धनाय नमः केशवाय नमः माधवाय नमः अनिरुद्धाय नमः प्रद्युम्नाय नमः. Greetings to all the spiritual seekers. Welcome to today's divine session on Bhagavad Gita. I would like to cover a couple of shloks from Sankhya Yoga. Sankhya Yoga is the one that provides Gnan, that knowledge, that discriminatory knowledge that our souls are different from our bodies. This is what Sankhya Yoga tells us. It's a deep dive analysis of the constituents of a living being. A body cannot exist. You cannot call a living body if Atma does not reside in it. When there is Atma residing in a body, then only it's dynamic, it's living. That's what Sankhya Yoga teaches us in Bhagavad Gita. In today's divine session, the shloks that I'm going to cover, they actually give an example of a turtle or a tortoise. As you know, turtles are of many kinds. They range from anywhere from 1 pound to 650 or 1500 pounds. A sea turtle weighs that much. They are very nimble, silent, calm. Some of them always live in water ponds. Smaller tortoises, turtles, or the ninja turtles or the sea turtles, they live actually in ocean. Most of the time they spend on the land, on the seashores, where they lay eggs, and small turtles, they hatch out of the eggs. All those things happen that we witness from time to time. So what's the connection between these tortoise or turtles and spiritual aspirants? Tortoise or a turtle has the ability to retract and release its limbs, the hands and the legs, the head and the eyes. Whenever a tortoise or a turtle sense danger, that it's going to be stricken with danger, or there is a predator to capture it, it senses it and then it retracts its limbs, head and eyes, and it plays dead actually, just like a piece of rock. You might have seen some cheetah cubs, lion cubs, whenever they find such shelly tortoise or turtle, they play with it. They also think that this is edible, but at the same time, they don't know how to crack it open, because the turtle is playing dead, because it sensed that there is a danger and someone is trying to capture it or break it open, or am I going to become lunch or dinner to this predator? That's the sense. Similarly, spiritual aspirants, or people who are learned or enlightened ones, they know always how to retract their senses from sense subjects and objects. They know how to become dispassionate about worldly affairs. They can make their souls restricted of these attractions toward the worldly affairs. That's how they can control themselves not to be attracted, not to fall prey to the sense objects and get stuck in this maya, which will run for a long time, many generations, many years. You will be bound by your karmic reactions if you do not become dispassionate. There is every need to become dispassionate about worldly affairs, be it very sweet music to the ears, be it a beautiful, attractive thing to the eyes, be it a sweet smelling for the nostrils, and a great taste for the tongue, and exhilarating or great enjoyment to the touch. All of these five senses, if one can control, including our action organs, that's the best. If you can control all 10 sense organs, well, five sense organs and five action organs, then you are the best. You are a Muni, you are a saint. That means you have accomplished whatever needed to be accomplished to be qualified for treading the path of spiritualism and reaching that ultimate goal of peace and bliss. That's the abode one needs to reach. If you have done that, if you became, dispassionate about worldly affairs, and if you could control and only use your senses as and when you require them for the greater welfare of the world or the greater welfare of the society at large, without selfish motive and self attachment to enjoy the fruits of your actions. Talking about turtles further, turtles, their bodies are very strong. They have shells, and yet they can retract and release their limbs and head and eyes from the shell. You see, turtles only take 3 to 4 breaths a minute. That's how their longevity is increased. They're very quiet. When compared to the humans, we take about 15 breaths per minute. If you're healthy, then you can live up to 100 years. Spiritual aspirants and yoga sadhaks, those who practice meditation, that internal pranayam, internal breathing, balancing apana and prana, and thereby activating every cell of your body and the nerve cells. That's how you can make your bodily systems function well so that you can live up to 100 years. There are many examples where some saints lived up to maybe 200 years, 250 years, 150 years. So it all depends upon how healthy your body is, what kind of sadhana you made toward internal pranayam. We have introduced this internal pranayam in many of the recent video clips. This internal pranayam was demonstrated by Lord Krishna to Arjun more than 5,000 years ago. And many rishis, saints, practice this technique in order to make them fit to accommodate their souls so that they have healthy body and then make their souls experience that that healthy body so that it can reside well and and progress towards the abode of peace and bliss of that Almighty. So herein we mentioned that it only takes 3 to 4 breaths a minute, and we take 15 if you're healthy. So what does this tell? That means you gotta practice. You gotta practice your yoga sadhana. It's all within your body. You gotta concentrate on your breath by fixing your gaze right here in your bronchi, and then go into the meditative process. It is first the churning process followed by meditative process in order to make your body just like a diamond so that you don't suffer from any disease, any malady whatsoever. It's guaranteed provided that you practice every day this internal pranayam. There is another example where a bowhead whale lives up to 1200 years and then it takes one breath for 90 minutes, 1.5 hours, only one breath. It means you got to reduce taking breaths, taking that, intaking of oxygen, that inspiration of outside air, and then expelling carbon dioxide through your nostrils or mouth. That frequency needs to be reduced. You can only reduce when you practice internal pranayam. That's only the technique which will work and make you live longer. Not only living longer, but being healthy and living longer and accomplishing goals. Who does not want this? We all want this. Our only goal is to realize yourself in Prakriti and realize Paramatman also in your Sahasrara Chakra within your own body without going on any external pilgrimage. You can do the pilgrimage within your own body without spending any money. Only thing that you need to do is do that exercise, internal pranayam, then you can accomplish your goals. So further on the turtle or the tortoise, you remember gods and demons. They have been fighting in every age. Kruta, Treta, Dwapara, and Kali Yuga. There is a fight between good and bad. Okay? It's always there, always there. Only the proportion has changed from Treta to Kali Yuga. When there was a war between demons and gods, they actually churned the Mandar mountain on a tortoise. The tortoise was Lord Vishnu himself, his incarnation. He served as a base for them to churn the ocean so that so that the gods, the head of gods, is Lord Indra. He lost all his wealth due to a curse by Saint Durvasa. So he lost all his wealth and he became powerless. So, in order to get back, they churned the ocean with the help of Mahavishnu, who served as a tortoise. Otherwise, the Mandar mountain would have drowned into the ocean. They would not have been able to churn the ocean to get back the wealth that Indra needed to rule all three worlds. So you know that story, and so this is how the turtles are like learned ones, pundits, or the enlightened ones. There is a lot to learn from them and and adapt to your life. What you learn from these turtles or tortoise. So let's get to the shloks of Bhagavad Gita, um, wherein Lord Krishna utters these couple of shloks from Sankhya Yoga, which he teaches Arjuna and us about these turtles and tortoise and the enlightened beings or the spiritual aspirants, the beginners. So, what's the message from these two shloks? Do not indulge in sense gratification. Realize to turn away the relish when you have taste for the external objects, the worldly objects. Even though you are treading the path of spiritualism, the relish may not go away. When you realize yourself as the Atman energy, and when you realize God in your Sahasrara chakra, then only you can renounce the taste for worldly objects and subjects. यदा संवरते चायम् यदा संवरते चायम् कूर्माङ्गानीव सर्वशः यदा संहरते चायम् कूर्मोऽङ्गानीव सर्वशः इन्द्रियाणीन्द्रियार्थेभ्यस्तस्य प्रज्ञा प्रतिष्ठता इन्द्रियाणीन्द्रियार्थेभ्यस्तस्य प्रज्ञा प्रतिष्ठिता one who is able to withdraw the senses from their objects, just as a tortoise withdraws its limbs into its shell, is established in divine wisdom. See, the tortoise, as and when it senses danger, it retracts its limbs, head, and eyes to avoid the danger. At the same time, when they want to prey on something or hunt some insect, some snake, or any moving creature in water, they release those organs and use them as and when they're needed. just like spiritual aspirants or the learned ones, the enlightened ones, people with wisdom from Bhagavad Gita, they also use their senses as and when a need is generated for the greater welfare of the country or the world. Further, in the 59th shlok, Lord Krishna utters this way: Vishaya vinivartante निराहारस्य देहिनः विषया विनिवर्तन्ते निराहारस्य देहिनः रसवर्जं रसोऽप्यस्य परं दृष्ट्वा निवर्तते रसवर्जं रसोऽप्यस्य परं दृष्ट्वा निवर्तते What does this mean? What does Lord Krishna mean about this stanza from Bhagavad Gita? Spiritual aspirants, they may restrain their souls. That means that they may restrain from sense enjoyments. But you see, getting rid of that rasa or taste or the relish of sense objects is not that easy until and unless you get a higher taste. Higher taste does mean not about food or any dessert or any fruit of your liking. It is the realization that you are an Atman energy emanating from Super Soul. That Super Atma, that Paramatma, that's the one needs to occur first in your Bhrukuti, in your third eye chakra. Once that is done, then you actually automatically realize the Paramatma who is in your Sahasrara chakra. That is the higher taste. That's the higher relish. Then you actually become dispassionate about the taste toward the worldly affairs and worldly subjects. Nothing throws you out of balance. Then with undivided attention, you operate in sattvic mode, and as and when needed, you operate beyond the trigunas. Situate yourself on that transcendental platform and in the form of Atma and serve at the lotus feet of the Paramatma. This is what happens if you adapt the technique of tortoise or turtles in controlling your senses, in controlling your mind, and operating under sattvic mode or beyond the trigunas, always thinking that you are not the body but an Atman in this world. This gotta happen when you live here on this planet, in this human form only. It can happen, not in any other form, not in any other body, only human body. You can realize yourself, your true self, the truth about yourself, and the truth about the God. यत्र योगेश्वर कृष्णो यत्र पार्थो धनुर्धरः यत्र योगेश्वर कृष्णो यत्र पार्थो धनुर्धरः तत्र श्री विजयोद्भूतिः ध्रुवाने तिर्मतिर्मम तत्र श्री विजयोद्भूतिः ध्रुवाने तिर्मतिर्मम आ, आ, whenever there is Lord Krishna, the master of spiritualism, that Yogeshwar, and wherever that Dhanurdhari, the archer, the supreme archer, Arjun, present, there you can find abundant wealth, power, victory, political justice, economic justice, social justice, and morale. There is no doubt about this. This is what Sanjaya says as the last opinion in Bhagavad Gita. So, first, be an Arjun. You be an Arjun. That means get that knowledge, acquire that divine knowledge, have that patience, purify your mind. Think always that you are Atman energy. Realize yourself right here in your Bhrukuti and realize the God. That's what it takes. But don't you forget to do the internal pranayam using that Nasabhyantara Charinav technique, using your soft palate as the platform to draw apana up and balancing with prana, life force energy, so that all your bodily systems function well, accommodating your individualized Atman within your own body for accomplishment of the most sought after goal of reaching the abode of peace and bliss. Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum with another divine production in the days to come. So long, folks. Swasti. Mm, 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 mm.